Welcome back. Today we put it all together and watch a visit between Dr. Laird, a patient, and her daughter about the results of the diagnostic testing done to evaluate her complaint of memory lapses. Let's watch for these key components. A family member is present. Dr. Laird will recap the evaluation to set the stage for the diagnosis. Listen for her use of a clear, concise phrase. I'm worried this could be the early stages of Alzheimer's disease. She will work to convey a hopeful but honest care plan of support. And finally, since you made a diagnosis of dementia, keeping the brain as healthy as possible has never been more important. Dr. Laird will review brain health strategies the patient can adopt to do all she can to help herself. It's a powerful way to give your patient something positive they can focus on amid a decidedly grim diagnosis.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting those tests done. I really appreciate it. Just to kind of refresh, we had you do some blood tests and a picture of the brain so that we could get to the bottom of understanding why your memory hasn't been as strong as it was in the past.
And now you know I've got a brain.
I do. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So let's start with the result of your blood test. So on the blood test, everything really looked quite good. I do know that you have a little bit of sugar diabetes, and that showed up in the blood test. But I know you're following with
They're chocolate bars.
you're following with your primary care provider, and they're taking care of that. Good, good. One of the things we always check is thyroid hormone level, and that was completely normal. So that's doing well too. There were 2 vitamin levels that we checked, and one of them, the vitamin D level, was slightly low. And so we're going to talk later about a supplement that I'd like you to start to help with that. The vitamin B12 level was in the normal range. Now, vitamin D, the fact that it's low, that isn't a cause of this memory trouble, but it can, some researchers believe, contribute to the health of the brain. So that's why we did that test. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. On the picture of the brain, just to refresh our memories, we were taking it because we wanted to see if we could find any tumors that might be causing this trouble. And good news is there were no tumors.
Oh, good.
I looked to see if there were any bleeding areas, and there were no signs of bleeding areas. We wanted to see if there was any evidence of mini strokes or evidence of low blood flow to the brain. And the radiologist did think that there was some mini stroke type of change, but that is fairly normal for someone of your age. And the radiologist actually thought it was in the normal range, given your age.
Could I have been aware of that?
No. Those kinds of strokes, no one ever knows about those.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the final piece is that we look to see what the size and shape of the brain is. And again, the radiologist thought the size and shape of your brain looked about what it should look like for your age.
Good. It's not shrinking.
Well, as we get older, unfortunately, it does shrink a little bit. But the radiologist thought that it was at about the right size and shape, and
good.
No problem there. Right. So all that is good news. We didn't find anything that needs, further attention or any further testing or anything like that.
I got a feeling you're going on, though.
Well, I am going to go on because we still have to get to the bottom of what's creating this memory trouble. And so there are certain diseases that don't necessarily show up on the scan and don't show up on the blood test, but can still create some of the memory trouble that you're having. And putting all of this together. So we started this journey talking about this when we found out that you were having some change in how your memory was working or not working, right? Some of those memory lapses. We did the assessment and we found out on using our brain puzzles and those brain games that your short-term memory wasn't what it used to be. And then
short-term.
Especially the short-term memory.
That's scary.
Yeah. And then we did the blood test and now the picture of the brain. Putting all that together, it does make me worried that this might be the beginning stages of Alzheimer's disease.
The what?
It might be the beginning stages of Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, no. Serious.
Yeah. Does tend to be serious.
That's scary.
Do you...
Scary thought.
I know. Do you know other people with that illness?
Yes. My sister.
And that does tend to raise everyone's concern.
Probably
I know.
Runs in the family.
Well, there are some families where there's a tendency to this illness. That's true. One thing I do like to point out to all my patients, especially when they know someone who has Alzheimer's disease, is that the course of everyone's illness is extremely individual. Mm. And so I know you've probably seen your sister and observed certain things.
Yeah, I see.
Every individual situation is very, very different.
But I think back on my grandparents and all, none of that. But maybe back then it wasn't diagnosed either, but they seemed to be fine all their life.
Yeah.
Your grandparents died at like 59 and 60 years old. Your grandparents died at a young age.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
So they didn't.
Yeah, my grandmother died at 59, so.
Right, so
that's true. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, your daughter's bringing
But my
up...
father didn't. He was 84, and he was pretty sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
anyways.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine. This is an important, part of our moving forward now is understanding what is causing this problem.
Right.
That now sets us up to answer the question, well, what do we do about this problem? Now,
replace the brain. Give me a good one.
I bet.
Give it an injection.
I only wish we had something like that. I wish. But a lot of people say humor is one of the most important parts of the psyche and helping ourselves.
As they say in Vermont, you might as well laugh about it as cry about it.
There you go. I like that.
That's just the way they do it.
That's right. I like that. And that kind of spirit, I think, is probably going to help you quite a bit.
Well,
and we'll try to keep up with that. We'll try to keep up with that. So like I said, though, once we know what we're facing, it sets us up very well to be able to know what we need to do about it. Because there are at this point in time, we can't make this go away completely. We can't cure this problem completely. But what we really want to do is make sure we take advantage of the medications that do exist that are able to help a certain percentage of the patients so that this problem doesn't get worse in a very quick fashion.
I'm bad at that,
What do you mean?
Taking medication. I'm very bad at it. I have to force myself, and I have to make sure I write it down, and I'm very bad.
Well, I tell you what, one of the reasons we have your daughter here is that, especially since the symptom that you came in with was short-term memory loss, that could make taking a new medication really a trick. And very difficult to get into your routine. Well, what we'll do is, if it's okay with you, from here on out, I would propose you guys kind of team up on things and work together on it. And I think then we'll be able to get it into your routine pretty well.
She'll just nag me.
Well, whatever works. No, I'm just kidding.
You're right. I know that. I know you're right.
But it's nice. This is a difficult, obviously, a very difficult thing to hear. And it's easier for us not in the patient's seat. But I do think that there's obviously a loving relationship, and there's a benefit to being a mother who has a daughter right next to her. And my hope is that we'll work together on doing everything we can to handle this as best we can so that you have as many quality years ahead of you as we can get for you.
Yeah, I suppose so.
And I think, with a lot of love around with your daughter and your other family members, I think...
Do you think my brain is shrinking?
I think that it probably has somewhat, yes.
Serious?
Mm-hmm. So, but there are things we can do to help keep the brain healthy. And so we're going to talk about that. Things like physical exercise, mental exercise.
Mental, I'll be glad to do. I hate physical.
Well, see, we're going to have to talk about that.
Do anything.
We're going to have to talk about that. What about spiritual?
Spiritual, yes.
Do you have a church that you attend?
Do.
Very good.
And
so prayer is
I believe in God and I worship Him.
Well, and that's part of keeping the brain healthy.
He's got me this far.
There you go.
He takes care of me on that highway.
That's right. So that's part of it. There's also social aspects that are important, and I know you well enough to know that you have a strong social connection to a lot of people and groups, so that's good.
A lot of friends.
And there's a lot of nutritional information that we have these days. So we're going to give you all that sort of information.
Nutrition? Don't take away chocolate.
All right. Actually, chocolate is on the list it has antioxidants in it. So it actually is on the list of brain food. So you'll be happy to hear that.
That's what's kept me going.
That's right. So you get to have chocolate. There you go. So I think between those sorts of brain healthy activities and the medicines, that's really where we'd like to start on this road towards helping you through this. Okay?
Well, that's good. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
I'll do what I can to help myself.
And we'll be right there to help you too.
Yeah.
All right.
The patient and caregiver you have just seen are not actors. They are a real mother and daughter patient and caregiver facing this challenging illness. They volunteered to help with this video project in the hopes of encouraging doctors everywhere, especially primary care providers, to learn more about how to make this difficult but critically important diagnosis.